last embrace. "Take care." She stood up. He looked at her solemnly. "I shan't see thee again, shall I?" "I'll be with thee always." He ran down the stairs, and she followed. The baby lay in the chair, still asleep. Hal's bundle on the floor. Hal had shoved aside the small chest, and now he lifted the hatch in the floor. Cold, dank air rushed in from below. Hal picked up the sack and pulled the strap over his head, adjusting the sack on his back. She went to the cupboard and grabbed her journal, as well as the athame in its scabbard that sat atop it. Going to him, she shoved them into the sack. "That!" He pulled away. "No, take it out. I want no part of it." "Thou must, else he will have it. Guard it, keep it, promise me." His eyes flickered with heat, and for an instant she thought he would refuse. But then he jerked his hand, as if throwing aside his thoughts. "I promise." He bent down to pick up the baby. She lit the wick in the fat tallow candle inside the pierced tin lamp, and handed it to him. He held the lamp above the dark hole. "Come, son." Guy looked back at her, and for an instant the scared little boy showed in his face. But then he started down the ladder. Hal bent to hand the boy the lamp. Straightening, he looked at her. He did not speak. His gaze said everything. She felt as if she might drown in the sorrow rising in her chest, but she nodded, summoning up a smile. "Godspeed, my love." Then her family was gone, leaving only the gaping black hole. For an instant she could not move, everything in her screaming to follow them. But she pushed down that craven impulse and rushed to lower the door. She dragged the small chest back in place. Whatever she had promised, she knew she would not be following them. She was not about to lead her enemies straight to her family. No one would bother to hunt them down. It was her they wanted. Her and her creation. She swung the pot out from the fire, then hurried to her workroom. She pulled out bottles of herbs and a small cellar of precious salt. It would be better if she could light her brazier and work at the table, but there wasn't time. She must trust that the rough fire in her fireplace would do. After pulling over a stool, she climbed up and inserted a key in the highest cabinet and opened it. Reaching in, she pulled out a small object wrapped in velvet. Even through the cloth, she could feel the warmth of it in her hand. The pulse of power. This was hers, the culmination of her life's work, the fruit of her knowledge and skill, and she must destroy it. Returning to the fire, she kneeled and unwrapped the instrument. It gleamed in the firelight, but she would not let herself look at it. She tossed in a handful of herbs, one after the other. She was not even sure this would work, but she had to try. She had sought knowledge, but somehow the path she had created to take her to wisdom had changed, leading her into power. It had been heady, seductive, but at the core of that power lay evil. It must be destroyed. She could only hope it was not too late. With one hand, she clasped the pendant that hung around her neck, drawing on its strength. With the other hand, she picked up the infernal device. She turned to the fire and stretched out her arm. She tried to call up the Latin words, but they would not come out. Her hand shook. Outside, thunder rumbled. She realized her own creation was fighting her now. Outside there was the sound of booted feet and a low barked command. His voice. A knock thudded on the door. She gripped the instrument more tightly. It cut into her skin, but she scarcely noticed it. The familiar tingling began to creep up her arm. A siren call whispered in her ear. She could stop them. If she turned this instrument against her attackers, she'd be safe. She could be with her family. But no, she must not give in to the temptation. Using it only strengthened it, made it more difficult to give up. She had sworn to stop using it, sworn to prevent anyone, especially him, from ever using it. Something far